everybody, Sean here. It's another Sunday Night Poetry with our friend Frank O'Hara. It's really interesting for me to do this on a semi-regular basis, to take a moment and get a little deeper into a poem. It's very easy to just read a poem superficially, zip right through it. It might just take a minute or 30 seconds. But taking your time and reading it aloud and thinking about it for a bit is a very different experience from the superficial way that I, at least, tend to race through these things. So thank you for coming with me on this journey into poetry, one of those forgotten arts, outmoded, but in so many ways eternal. If you think even just of places where poetry thrived, maybe in ancient Greece or not too ancient Ireland, there's real easy reasons for it, right? It's a good way to remember things in places where there wasn't really much in the way of writing, by putting a little rhyme to it or developing phrases that roll off the tongue. Like, how many times in the Odyssey do you see the phrase wine dark sea? Right? It's an aid to memory. And that's to say nothing of the fact that there is a certain beauty to poems. A beauty that it lasts longer than the need to rhyme them. Because, as Frank O'Hara even noted in one of these poems, nobody rhymes these things anymore. Which is sort of a shame, but you know, I guess we're just a little too modern for that. I guess, but think hip-hop is still based on rhyming. It's probably the most popular form of poetry around. So there you go. It's eternal and somehow forgotten, because we don't even think half the time of hip-hop as poetry. At least poetry in the hyper-literary sense that you know, our professors taught us to think about it in. So there, go listen to some hip-hop. I don't listen to enough myself. I had a phase of that in college, let's say. Avenue A. We hardly ever see the moon anymore, so no wonder it's so beautiful when we look up suddenly. There it is. And gliding broken-faced over the bridges, brilliantly coursing, soft, and a cool wind fans your hair over your forehead, and your memories of red grooms the locomotive landscape. I want some bourbon, you want some oranges. I love the leather jacket Norman gave me, and the corduroy coat David gave you. It is more mysterious than spring, the El Greco heavens breaking open and then reassembling like lions in a vast, tragic veldt. That is far from our small selves and our temporarily united passions in the cathedral of Januaries. Everything is too comprehensible. These are my delicate and caressing poems. I suppose there will be more of those, others to come, as in the past, so many. But for now, the moon is revealing itself like a pearl to my equally naked heart. Beautiful. That's all I have to say about that. Sometimes less is more. Now to our friend Basho. A random selection. Oops. By a singular stroke of luck, I saw a solitary hawk circling above the promontory of Iragu. The Atsuta shrine was under construction. Not a flaw there is on the polished surface of the divine glass, chased with flowers of snow. So if memory serves, this book is a book about a journey that Basho took, and it's part prose and part poetry. From time to time there's just little pieces of poetry, not all necessarily written by Basho. Anyways, highly recommended, very interesting book. Again, it's sort of this first-hand look at, I guess, early modern or late medieval Japan. A world that, frankly, doesn't really get taught in Canadian textbooks. And this is even hard to really figure out in university. At least at University of Calgary, didn't have a whole lot of Eastern Asian studies type courses, so you gotta figure it out on your own. Thank you for joining me for a couple of poems here on a Sunday night. I hope that you're having an excellent week. I urge you, if you feel the need to pick up some poetry, send me a poem you'd like read, or tell me what you think about these poems. Well, I'm happy to hear from you. Thank you.